Hello there, and welcome to the session on Zadkiel and your Zeal point chakra, your 10th chakra. And if this isn't a chakra you've heard of or worked with before, not many people talk about it. So it is, my helper has arrived. Not many people do talk about it, and I came upon it actually through a life experience. So I'd just like to start by sharing that small piece. And how I came to it was through a small accident. I was with a little pony that I loved, and he took off. The rope got stuck in my hand. I was holding it properly, but it still got stuck. And my shoulder dislocated. And a yoga teacher, I was busy healing it up. I was doing really well, I thought. And then it started to get less and less movement in it and less able to do anything, to the point that it actually froze, to the point that I actually couldn't lift my hand above my eyes. So I couldn't brush my own hair. Well, literally couldn't do anything because it's my right hand. I couldn't drive. And it froze for a year. Now that's a long time to be in that place of constriction and of discomfort. And the process of healing turned out that it had to be a deep understanding of where I placed responsibility. So there were phases of, funnily enough, I never blamed the wee horse. I love the wee horse, but I blamed myself for, as I fell over and the rope fell with me, that I somehow didn't miraculously let go of the rope. I blamed the fencing. I blamed the horse got a shock from the electric fence, all of those things and eventually, back to blaming myself again, eventually I blamed Source. Eventually, I got to the place where I realized that I had felt that Source itself, that God, all it is, had betrayed me. That somehow I wasn't loved, somehow I'd been singled out for this experience. And more to the point that somehow it was how it was just going to be forever. So I had, somewhere around the year mark, had decided that this was how it was. And in that moment, it was like, well, if this is how it was, what is there for me in this life? I can't use my right hand. I'm in pain. I can't sleep. I didn't sleep at all almost for a year. And there's something about those moments in life. And my wish for anyone else in any healing journey is that they're a bit quicker than I am to come to these realizations. I had to do it my slow way. But when I realized that I had blamed Source, I realized that I had denied through myself that capacity for goodness to come to me. So I had denied the healing to come to me. I had denied the freedom of movement to come to me. I had denied that my life was okay. And like at all levels that my life was okay. So I had completely removed myself from my source of abundance. I had completely separated myself from all that is, who wants only good for me. And when I finally understood that, when I could finally see that that's what I had done, the shoulder healed within weeks of looking like it was a permanent. And they say frozen shoulders can take up to 2 years to heal. So in the overall scheme of things, it still wasn't, supposedly the end of the world. But the healing that happened for me was inside. And in that betrayal by all that is, in that life isn't for me, life is against me, I'm not good enough to have what I want eludes me. All I want is my shoulder to work. Why can't I have it? All of those questions that pounded away at 3 o'clock in the morning when I was awake and in pain. I finally realized that I had replaced just having my shoulder work with wanting my shoulder to work. And remember, wanting means to not have it, to be in want. I lacked my shoulder working. I needed my shoulder to work. I didn't have my shoulder working because I needed it to work. I wanted it to work. And as I came through that gateway, I was looking around for sort of spiritual meanings around, so what's happening with this shoulder, this neck, this whole thing. And I came across information about the Zeal point chakra. And the Zeal point chakra, I see it as our 10th chakra, is the soft point just below, so get your fingers in, the soft point just below where your skull meets your neck, and there's kind of two tendons on either side, and in between is a soft point. Yeah. And just with your eyes shut, just nod your head a little bit, turn your head from side to side a little bit, and inside here there's four little wee tiny very deep muscles that by and large restrict the movement of and the ability of this space to be open and relaxed. So whenever our body is in a place of feeling frightened by life, particularly separate from life and denied all the goodness in life, those little muscles tighten up because it's a brace position. So if you're preparing for life to come at you, the first thing you have to do is stabilize your head so that you can keep your eyes out. So those four muscles, if you have a feeling or I'm going to call it a frame, and we'll talk about what that frame means. If you have a frame of reference that life is against me, life isn't giving me what I want, I lack, life isn't giving me what I need, I don't have what I want. Can you see how circular that thinking is? How completely actually it's unresolvable. You can never have what you want because the point is that you want it. You don't have it. It actually makes no sense when you think about it, when you stop and think about it. So here we have this beautiful 10th chakra. Zeal point literally links to the idea of having zeal and passion for life. This is where it is. And then anatomically, medulla oblongata. So it's part of the high brain stem. It's between the stem of your body going into the brain. So it connects, it's the first connection between body and brain. And it's where energetically life force comes in. And this particular piece comes from Yogananda. So the Yogananda of Autobiography of a Yogi, he speaks to it as the mouth of God. And his framing is, here are the lips and mouth that eat physical nourishment, and that is a useful thing for body, of course. But his teachings are that the mouth of God, this space, is where we actually breathe in the vitality behind us. It's coming in behind us, for us. And if we're always slightly braced for life to come at us, those four little muscles tighten up and we constrict the life force. So we might be breathing quite well through our nose. We might have learnt breathing. We might be eating really good food. We might be doing the best we can to have mental hygiene. But if somewhere there is a belief that life doesn't give me what I want, I've got to save to protect myself. So that's a sort of a money or a food thing. I've got to have a full larder just in case life comes at me and I won't be able to put new food in the larder. I have to have enough money in the bank in case life comes at me and I can't get more money because I can't have what I want. And this circularity is it literally drives us crazy because we know what we want, but we can't have what we want. And there's another factor to it. So here's all the energy we ever want, we ever need, all of the life force, which automatically fills our body. So this entry point, at the same time as it flows into the old brain, it flows into the body. So this is the thing you have where you'll recognize it if you've ever been in a situation where you maybe as a smaller person, you reached out for a stove or a hot plate or a hot fire, and before your mental mind could say, huh, that's going to be hot, your hands jumped away. You ever had, or you're hovering on the edge of something, you're not sure why, and your body pulls you back from it, and your body's recognized the situation. So the life force energy that enters here, that fills body and old mind, is in tune in the moment with reality. And this is the news that's tricky, right? I want to deliver it gently because you're not going to like it. The part of you that calls you you, that you say, I'm thinking about me, that part of you is actually maybe as long as half a second after reality. So your moment by moment, the life force comes in fully to the extent that you're not braced. Your beautiful body temple is in reality. Your eyes see, your ears hear, your skin senses around 10 million bits of information per second. A lot, reality delivers a full experience for us to enjoy. Half a second later, depending, somewhere between a tenth of a second and half a second, but a delay, let's say it's half a second, or let's say it's a tenth of a second, then we're working with tens. A tenth of a second later, your conscious mind is shown 10 bits per second. So you had the possibility, this wonderful life experience around you with 10 million bits per second of information, and your reticular activation system, your RAS, then to look after you delivers you 10, 1/10 of a second after it's happened. Do you see the irony that with 10 bits per second, you're trying to tell the part of you that has 10 million bits per second of information what to do and how to get it and how to do well in life? This part of you that thinks about this is half a second after it's happened. It's already done. And what you're served up with then is this frame of reference. So this frame of reference you shape and have shaped by your past and your beliefs. If you can come to the frame of reference over time with your body, your somatic experience, your subconscious, feeling safe and soft and relaxed, so those little muscles relax, all the vitality that you need can get in, you can then have those 10 bits per second be different. But right now, when you're trying to sort through having a better life, you're still sorting those 10 bits. You're going round the 10 bits. But the life that you want is actually, you've got how many bits? 9,900,000 other bits you could be looking at, and you're not even seeing them. You're not even hearing them. Another example for you about how you might remember that this works is if you're in a party and this really noisy, loud party and chit chat, chit chat, chit chat, all of a sudden across the room you hear your name and you know someone is talking or calling you or talking about you. So in a logical frame of reference, there's no way you would actually hear that. But this wonderful part of you that hears and sees the 10 million bits, just pick that bit out and draw your conscious. It made it one of the 10 bits. And you went, oh, someone's over there. I can go and talk to them. So deja vu is another example of this being just behind and then suddenly catching up feeling. So it's all in the fact that the part of us that is thinking about this is just behind reality, the window of reality that moves forward. And so there we are. So the question for today is, so the topic is, I am the source of my own abundance. Zadkiel is the angel of abundance and wisdom. The question is then, how do we stop looking at the same blinking 10 bits of information? How do we keep going round and round? We're like a hamster, right? We've got the same 10 bits. We're going, I want a better bit. And there's so much else out there. If we can what? If we can relax and open this space to all of the passion and the zeal. So Zadkiel, I very much see as the angel of enthusiasm. So when you feel enthusiastic for something, you know that you're connecting to his essence, his way of going. And his special crystal is the lapis lazuli, and it's the most beautiful, rich, royal blue with these lovely little golden shimmers, white shimmers through it. And this crystal is sometimes called the eyes of God. So it has this wonderful capacity to not only it delivers this colorway that I want you to impress inside yourself, but it also delivers the little flecks of gold, the little flecks of starlight. And so it has this beautiful, beautiful calling of just a colorway that is soothing and at the same time rich, different from cobalt. So we've been, so down here we're cobalt. So here at the mouth of God, the Zeal point chakra, we're between the throat and the third eye, which is indigo. We're between the two. And actually, when you think about this Zeal point chakra, remember it also connects, when we think about our third eye, it's a little bit like it's the it connects as a line through the pineal gland right at the center. So here we have now this sense of this space, and we're just going to spend a moment or two breathing in and out of our mouth of God, of our Zeal point chakra. And to do that, we're going to feel very clearly that cord, that wonderful spiritual cord right at the top of the crown. And we're going to feel the crown drawn up and the shoulders fall down. So just keep feeling the lift. Keep feeling the falling down of the shoulders. And then, and if you need to get your hands into that space again, that nice soft space, and just feel the little muscles I'm talking about are so deep, you actually, they're kind of below where you can really massage. But what you can do is as your shoulders release and as your crown is held, you can just have the feeling that your head is floating. That's what you're looking for. And then be very clear what you're sitting on. So I want you to sit really heavy. So the key point to opening this space, and it's when you're in your own time, it's actually lovely to do this lying down. The key point to opening this space is for the body to feel safe on its foundation. So your sits bones to be sitting really, really clearly on both sits bones. The crown of the head lifting up even taller, the shoulders releasing down even more. So we're looking for more space between the shoulder girdle and the base of the skull. And just swallow a couple of times. Swallowing just releases and activates your vagus nerve. And now every time you breathe in, very clearly feel the sense of white light being drawn in through this space, just below the base of the skull. And every time you breathe out, feel and notice this space at the base of your skull softening, releasing. Feel it being able to expand. With the next inhale, breathe even more clearly through this space. All of your awareness is here. And just notice how the energy, you can start feeling the energetic connection. Feel how this energy directly impacts and lightens up through the spinal cord and up through into the base of your brain. Now we're going to also now lift our eyes. And as you lift your eyes and look up towards that place, just between and above the eyebrows, I want you to notice how also the third eye chakra is activated here. So the whole of your awareness now is on drawing this life force into yourself. The third eye chakra, which is the organizer for the chakra system, then determines how to send out the energy. It sends out the energy to help chakras rebalance. It sends out the energy to help chakras turn. Imagine them as, if you like, turbines in a river. And they each pass energy one to the other, one to the other. And the key thing that the third eye chakra would like to have happen is a good flow so that they can pass energy freely up and down the system. Now this 10th chakra, it isn't worried as the crown and the third eye are involved with the balancing of left and right. Its only job, one job, is to bring the energy in. So be absolutely just enthusiastic about opening the space and bringing the energy in. With everything you have, and then take a moment, still feeling the lovely drawing up cord on the crown of the head, the soft shoulders, the clarity at the sits bones, where your feet are placed. The eyes are still turned up. And from this place, just now, take a moment to evaluate your whole system. So we have literally spent, perhaps a minute or two using our directed breath to directly connect with all that is and simply ask for what is for us. What is there for us? What is available to us? And just notice now how your system is. Breathing one or two more times, just get settled again and heavy. And as you might choose, just rub your hands together and just let your hands be over your eyes for a moment. And open your eyes behind your hands and just come back into your space when you're ready. So we've just played with one way of changing what the 10 bits of information might be, because we've lifted our vibration. So by having a full battery, the system automatically relaxes a little bit. The desire for the conscious mind to control what it sees relaxes a little bit. The space here softens a little bit. And from that place, the possibility of not having to guard against life gets softened. And the possibility of seeing something new. So the RAS in particular loves new things. So if you can practice catching something out of the corner of your eye is the best place to see it. So the conscious mind is particularly focused on the straight ahead and looking at something, where the RAS and where this beautiful energy coming from the mouth of God will catch you is in the periphery. So the more you can activate seeing in a broad sense. So if you just take a moment, take your hands here and wiggle your fingers. I'm slightly out of screen. See how far you can get out and still see your hands. Take them forward and back. Just practice. And it's a wonderful thing to do, to just strengthen your ability to actually be aware of your peripheral vision. Just bring my hands back. You can also do it when you're in the car, not when you're driving, please, but when you're in the passenger seat, to catch, to not look straight ahead through the windscreen, but to be interested in actually what's passing you on the sides. In a bus, good place to do it. So again, not looking ahead, but to catch. And the more you smile here and feel a smile here, the twinkle in the eye, the more you can feel the twinkle, the more you're likely to catch something new, something that's not in the frame of reference. Our job is to get outside of our own frame of reference. That's our job every day. Be surprised by something every day outside this. And there is another part of this that I also find interesting and helpful. And the uh, the place I can remember seeing it is in the Silver method. And I can't remember whether I've seen it other places or not. So I want to give credit for that, because I don't know that I've seen it more than that one place. In the same way that Yogananda, other people talk about the Zeal point chakra, but he's the only reference that I know of that speaks so clearly to the importance of the chakra. And I, over time, I've taken what the Silver method said, and I've added my own understanding around it. So I just like to share that with you, and then we're going to practice with it. And what I'd like to suggest as a theory, if we understand that the feminine side of us, which is our left side, is involved with the older feminine side of us, which is the subconscious, which means that I would see the past as coming from underneath me and up, behind me, in a diagonal, if you like, to be the present, to be here, like right where my eyes look out every day. Here's my present. And then my masculine side, which is my superconscious, which is interested in my potential and my future, I would see is actually up and to the right. So the history that I have, and this includes the sacrifices that my ancestors made so that I'm alive now. So it also, in my frame of reference, includes past lives. In my frame of reference, it includes the Akashic record. So all of this information is coming up from the bottom left, and the where I might go is up and top right. So when we lift our eyes in meditation, we're doing that from the point of view, I mean, this is a yoga and Buddha, this is a common piece. But what Silver's added is that sense of going to the right, which I've not seen in other places. And so what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to start with something that we want. We're going to bring in Zadkiel's energy, and we're going to breathe for our 10th chakra, the perfect place. So numerologically, the 10th chakra, which also happens to be our Jupiter connection, which is the planet of abundance and learning and expansion and travel and good fortune, and the age-old Zadkiel, and seeing life as perfect as it is, and seeing all that is as it is, as perfect, as perfected, alpha to omega, the beginning and the end, 10th chakra. It's a very energetically rich place. And the way we get to it is to soften and have faith. So our conscious mind with a lack of faith has no choice but to tighten up, to defend against, to be armored against, to be ready for life to come at me. The Jupiterian space, Zadkiel space, says, be happy-go-lucky, all will be well. So another name for Jupiter is Jove, and it is the beginning of the idea of being jovial. So if you look at someone who you might say to yourself, well, they've got everything they want, of course they can be happy. I would like you to consider that they have been happy, so of course they have what they want. Or there's that want word again. Of course they have. Of course they have their abundance. They have been happy, so they are the source of their own abundance. It turns it on its head. So the happiness is a causal factor. It isn't an outcome of having, it's a cause of having faith, allowing Zadkiel's energy to come through us and deliver for us this wonderful zest and zeal and passion and enthusiasm that arrives here. Inspiration. When we're inspired, we're full of God. So let us find that energetic connection. Again, we're going to go back to being very clear and heavy on our sits bones. Clear and heavy in our seated position. And if you're at home and lying down, it's also a wonderful way of doing this. That wonderful connection through the crown and up. Everything now lifting from this space, allowing the shoulders to release, allowing the space between the base of the skull and the shoulders to increase. Feeling the head floating on the neck, and just take a moment to just move the head around so that you can feel that it is literally beautifully able to float. And find your center of gravity in it. Now, with everything you have, breathing in and out of your mouth of God, out on your 10th chakra, the perfected chakra. Allowing all that you have to be here with you, understanding that all that you love is here with you as well. And we know and sense Zadkiel's presence when we feel enthusiastic, when we feel our passion, our zeal, our excitement, our inspiration, and our faith. He also brings the capacity of mercy at a point where it seems that there is no option but the worst that can happen. He brings the capacity of mercy. So at that moment, when the knife is about to fall, And the story goes back to Abraham, who was about to sacrifice his son. As the knife is about to fall, Zadkiel brings mercy of another option. Suddenly, that which you most feared, that you felt you had no choice but to do, as you are in his presence, other possibilities open up. Remember, we're outside now of our frame of reference. He brings us outside our frame. Breathing here into that space, that soft, gentle space just below and underneath the skull, and keep lifting from the crown of the head and releasing from the shoulders. And then with your eyes looking forward at the horizontal, just imagine something now in your day-to-day life that you would like to change in some way, that you notice a lack of, you notice a wanting for. And just observe how it is now. Without trying to make it worse than it is or better than it is, just be very matter of fact, because it really doesn't matter. It just is as it is. Eyes are straight ahead. It is as it is. Understanding and giving respect to all who came before you to allow you to even sit here to look at what you're looking. So respecting to the ancestors, the soul journeys, to all of the aspects of your subconscious that have created in you this moment in time. Absolute love, gratitude for being able to sit here and look straight ahead at this piece of your life that feels a little odd, a little wanting, a little not finished, not as you would like, not as you would have. And keep absolutely feeling into, the choices and the strength that your ancestors had to get through what they had to get through. And how they've gifted you this opportunity now to be in your beautiful body with the ability to know that you can soften and choose in new ways, understanding that they probably never were able to access. They probably lived their lives inside those 10 bits per second, and you have the possibility now. Zadkiel, Zadkiel, Zadkiel. To come outside your frame of reference, to be enthusiastic, to have faith and hold faith. So now we're going to take our eyes up and to the right. And keep breathing. And now in the space that's up and to the right, absolutely see very clearly how it could be. How this thing that you could love could be. The possibility of it in the future. Imagine that you are an explorer in a boat. Columbus sailing the sea. And ahead of you and to the right, lifting eyes up and to the right, there is the promised land, the land that you search for. Keep breathing, lifting eyes up and to the right. And just see now, so you're on the boat and you have a sense that there might be land up and to the right. And you know it will be beautiful, full of all the riches you might choose. Personal to you, of course, your riches and my riches, each we have a unique definition of this, which makes it so beautiful. At the point that my shoulder was in pain, the only rich I wanted was freedom of movement in my right shoulder. We each have a rich, an abundance that is so perfect and personal to us in this moment. Now, as you breathe and keep lifting your eyes up and to the right, just gently allow a drifting down towards the horizontal and be curious about what a seed of the promised land might look like. Now, do you remember when Columbus was on the boat, he sent out birds? And he knew he was near land when the birds came back with twigs and leaves, little pieces of plant. So if you, as your eyes drift from being up and to the right and down to the horizontal, in the horizontal, can you now imagine what a twig of your promised land would look like? What would be a tiny seed in your now time that would help you hold faith that you're steering your ship in the right way? So you do not expect to see your promised land in your now time. You expect to see the seeds, and you expect to see them out of the very corners of your eyes, glimpses out of the corners of your eyes. So perhaps you can imagine that as you're in the bus, you suddenly catch sight of a sign for something. As you're in the bus, you suddenly hear somebody say something. As you're walking in nature, you suddenly have an idea come out of nowhere. You see something on the path ahead of you. All of these are how you see the seed. And whenever you want to refresh the promised land, you sit quietly. You breathe here into your Zeal point chakra, your 10th chakra, the chakra of your perfection, enthusiasm, abundance, good fortune, happy-go-lucky. And you allow, as your eyes are up and to the right, you perfect the image of your promised land. And as you let your eyes drift down at the end of your time, you just ask, as your eyes are back to the horizontal, what might be the signs? What might the birds have brought back for you to let you know you're sailing your ship in the right direction? Take a moment again and just feel again in the widest possible sense of yourself, the possibility for your life, the way you hold yourself in connection to all that is, to Source, the way you understand Zadkiel, the way you can choose to be in the presence of Zadkiel. Just let all of this now richly settle around you. And there is a wonderful way to know and understand when the angels are present with you, is when you can be aware of certain parts of your body. And for Zadkiel, always, always look for his presence here at the mouth of God. So just place at the final piece of this work, place your awareness there as you place a signature here for him. So that again, you might, as you travel forward in life, suddenly know that he's there with you. Suddenly be aware that he has something to offer you. Suddenly understand that there's a sign that will come that you're ready to see. And through his gifts and sharing with you, that it will be available to you. Breathing in and out. And just gently now rub your hands together, warm them up. Placing your warmed hands over your face. Just letting your eyes open behind your hands. And in your own words, just give thanks to Zadkiel, for his presence, the gifts that he brings, the connection he offers through to all that is, for the possibility and potential of your life, for the perfection of your life as it is right now, for the perfection of yourself as you are right now. Give thanks for all of it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.